friends, it's your girl Duchess Charm and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If this is the first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, please feel free to stick around and click that subscribe button. Today is Crime and Conviction Day. Happy Monday, and today we will be talking about Colin Ferguson from the famous 1993 Long Island Railroad Massacre. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Cue the intro. Colin Ferguson was born in Kingston to a wealthy family. Now, his father was described as one of the most prominent businessmen in Jamaica. Colin went to Calabar High School. He was well-rounded, he played sports, and he even managed to graduate top third in his class. Unfortunately, at the age of 20, Colin's father died in a car crash, and shortly after, not quite sure when, his mother died of cancer. Now obviously this crushed Colin, but to make matters worse, his family money, his family wealth was totally depleted because of these debts. 4 years after these debts, Colin moved to the US on a visitor's visa and then got married to Audrey Warden and earned his residency. Colin faced a lot of difficulties in the US, especially racism, which he was not used to in Jamaica. And he was very frustrated because he couldn't get any job other than mediocre jobs. Colin and Audrey moved to Long Island, but they fought all the time and their relationship was described as tumultuous. So 2 years after they got married, Audrey obtained an unconsented divorce and she left. Not quite sure if Colin was abusive, but friends of the family did say Audrey wanted a divorce because Colin was too aggressive. After all the tragedy that Colin went through, this was just another blow. More bad luck followed Colin when the next year, while he was working at a security company in New York, he slipped and fell. He injured his head, neck, and back, and because of this, they terminated his employment. Colin was now unemployed again, but he did file workplace injury claims. He enrolled in community college and he even made it to the dean's list, but he was forced to leave this college when he acted overly aggressive towards a teacher. He transferred to another college but was suspended in 1991 because he made threats to students and teachers during a symposium. He repeatedly said to these teachers and students, "The Black Revolution will get you," and after being suspended, he could have reapplied, but he chose not to. A year later, Colin was arrested and charged with harassing a woman on a subway. She asked him to move over so she could get the vacant seat, but Colin just screamed in her face and he pressed against her with his leg and his elbow until the police had to intervene and pin him down. He called this arrest vicious and racist. However, these claims were investigated and dismissed, and this angered Colin. Remember that workplace injury claim? Well, 3 years later, Colin got a compensation of $26,250. However, Colin claimed that he was still in pain and he wanted the case to be reopened because he simply needed more money. Colin had conversations with a lawyer at a firm, but she claimed that he made her feel uncomfortable and she felt threatened by him, and she even asked another lawyer to sit in on their meetings, which she had never done before. Colin later made some threatening phone calls to members of the firm saying that they were discriminating him. By 1993, Colin was at his wit's end. He was still unemployed and he was unsuccessful in finding a job. Colin bought a gun and he carried it around in a paper bag. I'm not quite sure why he bought the gun, but he was robbed by 2 African Americans, so this could be the reason he felt threatened. Colin's landlord and his neighbors said that he was now clearly unstable. He was talking in the third person, he was taking 5 showers a day, he was talking about conspiracy theories, and he was obsessed with racism. Because of this, his landlord felt unsafe and asked him to move out by the end of the month, and this was back in April. On December 7th, 1993, Colin boarded a 5:33 train, and as it pulled into the station, Colin pulled out his gun and started shooting randomly. He was shooting left, he was shooting right. Passengers were running, some hid under their seats. Colin walked down the aisle screaming, "I'm gonna get you." And it was madness and chaos. This whole ordeal lasted for 3 whole minutes. Now, I can't even begin to imagine what these persons were going through. The first person Colin shot actually survived, and she said she had to play dead just in order to make it through. He emptied 2 15-round magazines and was loading his third when he was stopped by 3 passengers. The name of these 3 brave passengers were Kevin Bloom, Michael O'Connor, and Mark McKenty. Unfortunately, Colin was able to injure 19 people and kill 6. An off-duty police officer that was there to fetch his wife intervened and handcuffed Colin. Several notes were found in Colin's pockets with headings such as "reasons for this," and there was one found in regards to his prior arrest with the subway incident. Colin fired his lawyer because he was not willing to plead insanity, and he opted to represent himself. And after a psychological evaluation, he was found competent, even though he did not have formal training as a lawyer. During the trial, Colin said that he definitely did not do the killings. He said that he did carry the gun onto the train, however he fell asleep. A white man grabbed his gun and started firing. This went against what several eyewitnesses had to say and the surviving victims. The trial was labeled as a circus. Colin, who was always dressed nicely, looked like a lawyer. He was smart, so he sounded like a lawyer. He was very confident, but because he wasn't trained in this field, it just ended up being a whole lot of nothing, and he just rambled on and on for the remainder of the trial. In February 1995, Colin was found guilty and sentenced to serve 315 years and 8 months behind bars. He will be eligible for parole in 2309. Colin showed no remorse whatsoever. Colin isn't doing so well in prison. He even tried to start a riot in 2011 on the anniversary of 9/11, but person said that this wasn't surprising because he is a troublemaker. My thoughts on this case, I actually feel sympathy towards Colin. And wait, before you judge me. He was a part of elite Jamaican society. His father was rich. He was born into wealth. He went to like one of the top boys' schools. He was smart. He got good grades. And then all of a sudden, it was just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. And what started the series of unfortunate events is the death of his father. Then shortly after, his mother. Then the money just goes down the drain. He is a somebody in Jamaica, and then all of a sudden all of that is gone. He moves to America, and then he's faced with racism. And let me tell you something, Jamaicans, we don't face racism. In Jamaica, we face colorism and we face classism. I also have a video on colorism. If you guys would like to check that out, I will link it above. So we face colorism, we face classism, but we don't face racism. And even if we have faced racism in Jamaica, it's not like blatant racism. You know what I'm saying? So this is new. This oppression is new. And then he's unemployed and he's struggling to find a job. And if you guys, anybody watching this has ever been unemployed and trying to find a job, it is very frustrating and it will break you. He finally gets a job and then he's injured and terminated. That's where the sympathy stopped, because when he was enrolled in school, he now became the aggressor. He was aggressive towards teachers. he was aggressive towards students. He started threatening students. And then he now moved from a victim role, in my eyes, to playing the victim. Even the subway situation where he was arrested, that could have been avoided. That was his fault, and yet he called the arrest racist. It's not. You got arrested because you did something wrong. He's so oppressed that he doesn't realize that he was oppressing himself at some point in time. So that random shooting that happened, that was just his breaking point. But anyways, I haven't gotten an update on him beyond 2014 when he was charged for inciting the riot. But how more can you charge him? Like, he's dying in prison. Like, let's be honest. But I think he's still alive because I haven't seen anything stating that he has died, you know. So more than likely he's still alive, but that is my assumption. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, remember to like this video, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you very much. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this case, so just leave it down in the comments below, and I will be linking my sources in my description box if you guys would like to read up more on the case. And as per usual, remember to be a beautiful soul, not just a gorgeous face. And until my next video, bye guys. Their relationship was, I forgot what I wrote right there. Okay.